Welcome to a new hand at Poker at the Lodge. We're playing a cash game with blinds $25/$50, $50 big blind ante, and there's also a $300 straddle on. So before Xuan even acts, the pot is already $425. We're going to play this hand from Xuan Liu's point of view, sitting in the hijack against Mariano in the small blind. It's folded to Xuan, and she looks down at ace of spades, jack of hearts. She opens to $700. Now Mariano 3-bets from the small blind to $2,400, and it folds back to Xuan. What should she do? Pause the video, think about it, and when you're ready, hit play to continue. Welcome back. So this 3-bet is definitely annoying, especially coming from the small blind. Mariano is representing a very strong hand, but we are deep stacked, and Mariano is known to be an aggressive, sometimes loose aggressive, cash game player. And it's certainly not the first time these two have battled. Now in this spot, we almost never 4-bet. You could argue for it sometimes, but facing a 3-bet this large, the problem is simple. If you 4-bet and get jammed on, what are you doing? Most of the time you're staring at aces, kings, or ace-king, and you really don't want to stack off with ace-jack here. The solver is clear. Facing a loose and aggressive player such as Mariano, you should call most of the time. Why? You have an ace blocker and position. In addition, Xuan is also a very experienced poker player, so she has a lot of ammunition to go for battle. She calls, and we go to a flop. The flop comes 2 of diamonds, 5 of hearts, jack of spades. Mariano being Mariano, always aggressive, always putting you in tough spots, fires again and continues to represent a strong, uncapped range. And strangely, he makes a very small continuation bet, only $1,700. Now it's back to Xuan. What do you think she does? Well, on this flop, when we look at the hand evaluation, it's not a big secret. You have top pair, top kicker. You technically also have a backdoor straight draw to the 5 high straight. But let's be real. You'd need to go runner, runner 3 and 4, so don't count on that too much. The real improvements are simple. You can improve to 2 pair or trips, so you've got about 5 strong outs. Now let's look at the analyze and explain window. It's pretty clear. You should call the vast majority of the time. Because Mariano used this tiny sizing, the equity required is only about 20%, and you have roughly 50% equity. Plus you're in position. So the EV of calling is very straightforward. Yes, you could argue for a raise sometimes, but the same logic as preflop applies. If you raise and face a re-raise, you're running into the top of Mariano's range. Queens, kings, aces, and yes, even the rare set of jacks, which is still technically possible. And remember, even on this flop, there are still plenty of combos that beat you, around 40. So overall, it's a pretty clear call, and that's exactly what we do. Now let's go to the turn. The turn is the ace of diamonds. Now things get really interesting because the board picks up a diamond flush draw and Xuan improves to top 2 pair, but you still have to be careful. Mariano can absolutely have hands like pocket jacks or pocket aces, so this is a high leverage spot, and Mariano keeps applying pressure. This time he bets $6,000 into a pot of nearly $9,000. That's about 2/3 pot, roughly 67%. Now it's back to you, playing as Xuan. What do you do facing the second barrel, now that you've picked up big equity with top 2 pair? Pause the video, think about it, and when you're ready, hit play to continue. This is an excellent spot to just call. Why? Because against a loose, aggressive cash game player like Mariano, there are going to be junk bluffs in his range, and that makes calling much better, especially when the line is small flop bet, then big turn bet. In GTO, you typically don't raise the turn very often here. You call, keep their bluffs in, and let them continue. And the plan is simple. If Mariano bets the river, Xuan can choose the right rivers to go for maximum value, including jamming on safe runouts. Xuan recognizes that, and it's been an excellent hand so far, she calls. All right, let's go to the river. On the river, the jack of diamonds hits, completing the diamond flush. Mariano now bets $12,800. That sizing is obviously representing a flush, but on a paired board, that story is already a little dicey because boats are always in play. Now it's back to you as Xuan Liu. What should you do with the second nut full house? You're only beaten by pocket aces for a higher full house, and you can verify that in the hand evaluator. Pause the video, think about it, and when you're ready, hit play to continue. Welcome back. Let's do a real-time analysis from Xuan's point of view. At this point, the decision is actually very straightforward. You should go all in. You have the second nuts, a full house, jacks full of aces, and we certainly don't just call here. You want maximum value from every flush, every jack, and any strong hand Mariano can convince himself to pay off with. And that's exactly what Xuan does. She shoves all in. Mariano makes the call with 10-7 of diamonds. Yes, he made the flush on the river, but against a full house, it's not good enough. Xuan wins the pot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another episode of Poker at the Lodge.